Go ahead with the design then. Alright, now I want to show you some designs and then you can decide, is this a good design? This is an example of a website, and somebody have decided to design this website, loaded with a lot of information. In fact, I don't even know where to read. I don't know what I should see first. I don't know what I should notice first, but everything is just up on my face. I can't see a clear distinction of the header. I can't see a clear distinction of this is what I should read first. All of them are what? Different multicolors and different design. There's no sense of what? Design here. This is a bad design. Again, another example of even worse design is this. Some people are so familiar with designs, they want to add all the color in the world into their own design. That is what we have right here in this on the screen. Now we have somebody trying to create a design, and then we have this design here. I don't know what to read again. The colors are bright, shouting everywhere. I don't know what to see. But this is also an example of a bad design. And some people are so minimalistic. I'm not going to bombard you with a lot. The information is going to be what? Limited. And even with the limited information, it is not organized in a way that you feel like this is even working. This is not a good design as well. And maybe that's not a good design. Now, an example of a good design is going to be, if I'm talking about the website, now this is a good design. This is clearly readable. I know where the icon of the brand is. I know that I can click on about us, our services, or contrast, or contact us. Basically, I have everything well spelled out here. I can digest this information, right? You don't underestimate all this gap that we have here. These are what is known in design as what? White spaces. When your eyes have places to move about in design, where I can move about, it gives you it gives your design visual environment to breathe, right? So a reader can easily digest the information and move about with their eyes on that design. This is an example of a relatively good design. An example of that again is what we have on this slide here, right? Clearly emphasizing and a contrast between the text that we have here, simplifying agriculture, empowering trade, and the likes. We have a small write-up here again with the brand icon listed below. This is a clear, understandable design. I don't have to give you any description or explanation of this. And then we have the third one on the list as well, showing the brand icon, an image that relates to what the brand is talking about, and then their key motto, which is what? Simplifying agriculture and empowering what? Trade. Another example of design is, if you are trying to be limited, you don't have a lot of words, we have also this that also means the same thing. Simplifying agriculture, empowering trade, and then we have the brand icon listed below. Right? This is an example of a what? Good design. Does not mean that if you call something a good design, text has to be everywhere. Everywhere has to be loaded. In fact, you might have some small information that you want to convey, and then the way you organize the entire thing is actually what we call design sense. Right? Again, another aspect of design is this. You will notice that everything that I've been showing you from design, all the major 4 concepts that I mentioned that I've shared with you are what's embedded in this. First, you will notice that there is consistency. The grid system that I've been using from the beginning of my design is what I still maintain in every aspect of my design. Grid system is being emphasized everywhere. Right? The brand color is also being repeated across board. Right? The brand color is also being repeated what? Across board. Visual designs, in fact, the color scheme, the kind of imagery that we use, everything aligns to the brand. Again, repetition, contrast, alignment, proximity, these are major. In fact, there's one other one that is very, very important, which is hierarchy, but that's not the talk for today. We are going to be going into that more later. Now, today I'm not just here to come and tell you how interesting creating a design can be. I actually want to show you how we can go ahead to make these things, right? So it's time for us to do some hands-on activity, and then we'll be starting again with the Canva that I'm so not interested to do. So let's start with the Canva again. On our design here, I'll go ahead to click on what? Escape. I'll go ahead to share my screen for the Canva design. Can everybody see my Canva workspace now?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so I'll go ahead to start a new design very quickly. I'll just press in Canva because I want to start from afresh where I don't have my profile logged in, so that you can see how you can also secure your own login. I have these links that I'll be sharing on the group after now. So Okay, I still have my profile actually, so let me go ahead to do something very quickly. I'll go ahead to use a combinator window. So I'll go ahead to just use Canva here, so that to show me without any profile being signed in. This is whenever you launch or open Canva from your own end. Somebody have asked me earlier, in fact I feel like I should mention this now. For the purpose of our training today, if you have a laptop is better for you. If you have a phone, maybe it's only Canva aspect of our training that you actually enjoy, right? So because for the purpose of this class, if you have a laptop that you can work with, very good, fantastic, because we are going hands-on. We are going to be going into Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and those are serious businesses. And again, my plan is to take everything piecemeal, bits by pieces, you understand, and basically walk you through the road of becoming. I cannot give you everything, even if this training was to last for 2 years. You cannot learn everything from me. It also takes some level of work from your own end, trying to learn, research, and see how things are being done. You understand? So again, regardless of the fact that our training duration is very short, I believe we can get the most out of it if you are ready to do the work, because I am ready to do the work. You understand? When you launch Canva for the first time, you get to this website, and then you can go ahead to click on login if you have an account already. If you don't have an account, you can go ahead to click on sign up. You can use your Google, your Facebook, or whatever email address that you have to sign up. If I want to use my Google, basically it's going to ask me what email am I trying to use to sign in into this account, and you can enter all the information accordingly. Immediately you're able to do that. I'm not taking KG2 children. So if you guys have WhatsApp account, Telegram profile, you should know how to create an account from here. The website from here, go ahead and create everything. Create your own profile using Google or whatever. It's going to land on this section here, right? It's going to land on this section here. Now, I said for the purpose of our design here, for the purpose of our training here, this is the interface of Canva, right? This is the interface of, when you open it up, this is what it will show to you. You have the Instagram, can you see Instagram post? We have the A-Defectory post, we have the doc, you have different design that you can create. You can even create someone like my presentation file that I just showed you now. That my presentation file that I just showed you, you can also create it from here. You can see presentation, you can create social media ad. This is good for you. Please, everybody should try to understand. While I'm trying to quickly go through this Canva, because I don't use Canva like I said, I try to just go through it to just see what is it about this Canva, to see how it works. I actually now find out why people see Canva as something, and why people are so interested about Canva and want to learn about Canva. These people are lazy, and these people are smart as well. They are not just lazy, they are smart lazy, because you don't have to do everything. Canva provides you with all the templates you might need in whatever aspect that you might want it to be. For example, I've showed you an example of my own carousel design. Let me type carousel here. Let me see what I can come up with. Carousel. I have carousel design for Instagram posts. Yes. When I click on that prompt, you guys must have interacted with carousel design before now. Definitely. That's not. When you say different carousel design, you see all this design. What should you post here? You always post somehow. In fact, some people do it for their programs, events. When they have a shoot, you can see as fine as what we have here. And one thing about it, whenever you go to this search section and type in a search of whatever you want, it lists out all the templates. These are templates that you can use. Everything is free for you to use, but some of them are not free. How do I know some of them that are not free? Can you see the one that has this crown icon like a pro? Can you see pro? That means you need to subscribe. You need to pay some money, you understand, for you to be able to use this feature, to use this kind of slide. Because some people, basically designers like yourself, goes to Canva, create template for people to use free of charge, and some people create templates and they feel like, oh, this my template is too fine, I need to get paid for it, and that's why they are on pro. It is not meant for everybody. It's meant for the pro members of Canva. So again, you have, in fact, if I am to compare the two, people that are just regular member on Canva has a lot of templates. Can you see over 20,000 templates for you to use just for carousel design alone? So for the purpose of our class today, I actually found one interesting one that we are going to be using, which is this fine one below. Where is it? This is how design works, and the likes and the likes and the like. So do I have it on this list again? Because I also picked it up from there. Alright. So again, when you pick up any template that you want to use, I'll just go ahead to select. Maybe let's select this guy that I have below, and then when I click on it and it opens up, it gives me access to everything. It gives me access to everything. basically on this design I get to what? Can you see everything is loading up, and then everything is done here. All I have to do is just double click and then type in whatever I want. This is how I got started with design. I created this today just to give you guys a template of how this thing works. So this is how I got started with design. Everybody is going to create this for the purpose of our class. This is like an assignment, or should I call it a take home. Everybody is going to create this. You are going to tell us how you got started with design. My own design is I got started with design. How I got started with design, you're going to have your pictures below here. You can use your picture, you can use any stock photograph that you have online. This is not my own picture. Again, I get to explain the first part, how it all began. I explained everything here, and then I went to the learning and experimentation. I explained everything. I choose my picture here. I want you to personalize this. Basically, let me show you how we go about that. Let me go back to my design once more. I'm going to go to back home to where we started from in the first place. I'll go ahead to search again, carousel design for Instagram post. I'll pick another one entirely so that you can see how this thing works. Let me pick which one looks nice. Let's use, I'll just use this for an example. This is a pro design. I like good stuff. So close this up. Let me pick something else that looks free. Let me look for alright, let's use this for an example. I'll go ahead to customize template. Now when I click on customize template, it's going to open that template up for me for the first time. Like, this is how I found the other design that I used. Again, when you browse, you are going to see that design that I used. For example, you are going to see that on the list. Now can you see I load up the template as it is in the design. Now on this template slide, I have the first page. Can you see page 1 on the list? When I scroll down, you see page 2. Can you see that? I scroll down, I see page 3. I scroll down, these are just 3-page design. Now if I want to share an event, maybe how a vacation that I went to, how everything worked out or something like that, all I have to do is put my image in the background and then get to show how this event played out. The first thing I can do, I have access to change the write-up. If I want to change the write-up, all I need to select the write-up, double click on it. Now I have access to things I wish I had known before visiting. And then I'll say that these things I wish I had known. This one, my own is not stuff. I'll say, where is e-learning again? I'll put e-learning here. Right? So as a student, I know things I wish I had known before visiting e-learning. Now this is not a picture of e-learning. If I want to change the picture of e-learning, if I want to put a picture of e-learning, all I have to do is let me go to my browser very quickly. I'll just type e-learning to show maybe maybe the picture of how e-learning looks or something like that. Let me just get image, and then you guys can interact with this. Or basically, I want to use a major landmark in e-learning that represents somewhere everybody will know in e-learning. Can anybody recognize this space? Though I don't mind if you don't. Or can anybody recognize what I have here currently on my download? This location, is it a popular location? Maybe not. Maybe this, I don't know. Let me use that for now. I'll go back to my carousel design again. I'll go back to my design itself. I've selected the template. So I'll go ahead. If I wanted to put that image in this design, all I have to do is open my folder. Under my folder section, I'll go to download. On my download, I have the file here. I'll just go ahead to minimize my screen so that you can see everything that I have here. You can see my design, you can see the screen, right? I'll go ahead to drag the image from my file. I'll just put it inside my design. Now you can see the text. I can just place it around. Now I can select this guy, remove this image in the background, and then select this image and then scale it up so that it fills up the entire space. Are we good to go? This is how I want to explain my own e-learning journey, right? Are we together? So this is how Canva works, basically replacing with placeholders, and I'm moving on. What's the next part? Don't miss out on so island. Maybe another landmark that you don't have to miss out on when you visit e-learning is this smokes here. I think it's a major landmark because it's repeated everywhere. So I'll go ahead to select this smokes. I don't know if the image is the best color size. Select this guy, right click, select image, Then I'll save it again to my download once more. I'll go ahead to minimize and go back to my design. If I need a particular image again, I can select this guy to take it to the side. Apart from dragging my image in like I just did here, I'll show you another approach to bring an image into your design again. Another way is to go ahead to click on this section known as what? Upload. Right? If I click on upload, it's going to ask me, do you want to bring any file in from what you have brought in before? No, I don't want to bring any. I'm actually looking for another file on my drive. So I'll go ahead to click on what? Open file drive, and I'll go to my download. I'll look for the file that I have here. Now I cannot find that image that I downloaded for e-learning, but I can just pick out any other random image that I feel like I have. Let me pick out this. Okay, so maybe you don't miss out on this restaurant in e-learning. Though I don't feel like any restaurant is like this in e-learning. So let me just pick out the image. Now that I've uploaded the image in this folder, all I have to do is drag it out. So imagine the process of you having to put a design here and then having to bring it into your workspace like this, or just dragging it directly from your folder. Which one would you go for? Again, it is your own decision to make. I'll go ahead to pick the image that they put in their own design. I'll delete that, and I'll go ahead to bring mine as well. Put it in my bring mine and try to align it with whatever design that I have here. Again, you can see that now my image is covering everywhere. Again, my image is covering everywhere. Meanwhile, I still have some lines, I still have some text that I'm supposed to be showing here. All I have to do is meaning my image is at the top. When I right click and select arrange, can you see I can actually arrange this design? I can send it to back. Are you with me? Are you with me? Can everybody hear me, please? I'll go to my layers. I can send to back. You can hear me, right? All right, cool. So I'll go ahead to send this image to back, and you can see that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the feedback. All right, so we have the image at the background of that, and basically I'm already editing. I cannot tell you that. Don't also miss out on Molete. I don't know if Molete is in that place. Molete is in Ibadan. Molete restaurant, right? Again, capital letter R here. Restaurant, right? I have that, and then the next one is the kind of food you should not miss out on as well, right? I go ahead to basically adjust this, and whenever I'm done, automatically I get to put my design into the word directly. Do you get that? There's no plus or minus, there's no addition, there's no subtraction, there's no. You have finished the design and you are up and ready. Now, looking at the example that I used in my design here, if you were trying to also create a carousel like this, look at the carousel design that we used as example here. I'm trying to also create that for you here. In fact, it is also an example or an assignment that we are all going to be putting our hands on, trying to test it out, which is this guy that I explained to you earlier. I'll go ahead to close this guy up, go back to my Canva design, and then I'll minimize this, go back to home, and then I'll open that design again. I want us all, when you search carousel design, you will find this design by default. Not with the same image that I have just included here, but you will find the same design with the same color, with the same everything. And I want you, everybody, after now, to go ahead, open this design up and give us a story of how you started with your design. Your first, I think you want to believe most of our first impression is on this call. How is your what was the first part? What made you fill out that form and selected that you're going to be doing graphics design for this course? Put in a story, put in a write-up about it. Use your images, make it personal, because you're going to be posting this on our Instagram, tagging you in learning, and then tagging myself on the post. So also, if I also get to repost you on my Instagram page. Yeah, you get. So this is what I want to encourage everybody to do. Sit back, try to prepare a write-up. Just open up this template. This template is here, and I can also tag it in the design. When you search for it, you always find this template. How I got started in whatever, and then use that in our graphics design. Use the same design, but use different color. The color that aligns with you, the write-up that aligns with. Use different images that also represent whatever. You can use the same image for yourself and everything. Basically, use everything that is related to you. So basically, if you are following the instruction, design of Mr. A, student A has to be different from student B. Everybody has their own views and perspective of how they got interested in design in the first place. So I'm not expecting the same messaging, because I'm more interested about the story that you guys are going to be putting in the write-up. right? And then how you basically replace all these images and then move on. If I wanted to replace this image that is here, all I have to do is what, select the image. In fact, I can select this image and what, remove it. I can go ahead to select the image. Select the image. When it's selected, I can what, delete. If I want to put another image here, I can go back to my folder. My folder can open up. I have it on my download. Let's say I have one interesting image that I would like to include. Let's use, now this one has downloaded. Let me bring it into my what, Canva. And then it's currently loading up. That is why the upload is currently showing. Immediately it's loaded. Now it's loaded. I can click on it and it will open up on this my design. I want this image to be what, placed in this section. So when I drag it in, it fills it up. Are you with me? This is working with a pre-made template, right? Again, on our Instagram, we are going to be tagging my Instagram page, and then also it's on your, there is a take-home practice exercise that I've organized, that I'm going to be sharing with everybody. It has all the hashtag that you need to use on it. So it has everything. Put your image there, make it personal, so that when people are seeing it, they feel like, oh, they can come. If your best friend is seeing this post and it feels like, oh, this is not the Mitokwe that is talking. You understand? It does not feel like, it's not like you are not sounding like you. Do you get me? You are not sounding like you. Then there's a problem. So put in your right to make it personal, and then send it to the team. We are going to be reviewing that on our Telegram page. We all know how our Telegram page works. You can see that we have created the question and idea box, the project file. This is where everything comes in. Everybody drop their what, project file. Again, you don't get to drop your project file as one file. You drop whenever you are done with your design. You know, it's in multiple pages. Mine, looking at my design here, mine is how many pages now? We have 1 page, page 2, page what, to page 5. I think there are 5. Okay, mine is 6 pages. Yours can be 6 pages as well. So you get to what, group them, make them into a zip file. If you don't know how to create a zip file, because when you upload yours and Temitope on the group also upload his, everything will be scattered. We don't know who is who. You understand? So you get to what, make it a zip file and then send it to the group. If you don't know how to create a zip file, you cannot let us know in the chat section. We can teach you how to do that, right? Do you get me? Let us know in the general discussion section. We can show you how to make a zip file. Everybody should send their design as a zip file. Apart from that, apart from sending it into the project section on Telegram page, you're also going to be what? That's the one you are sending on Telegram page is for me, myself. I'll go ahead to review your design to see, give you a comment personally on it, so that I can make the correction and then we can be like we're on the same page from there. The other one is for everyone to please go ahead, put it on their social media platform. If you don't do the first one, you will not do the second one. That's something about design. You feel like, this is not so good, it's not so good. If you don't put it out there, you understand, you will not do the first one. Like they used to say now, the journey of a thousand miles starts from what? A step. Take the first step, try something out. That is when we get to feel like we are moving on the same page. Again, let's round up the section by talking about, this is when you are using a template. Again, this is when you are using a template. We are going to be giving this as assignment. Another one that I have here on the list is under design. I go to something known as what? I go to my, there's a menu icon here. This is your design phase. I get to use my design. If I want to put a new text here, I can delete this guy. Delete, and I can put in a new text. I'll put a text box. I'll just put it here. And then on this text box, I want to put what? How I got started with design. Right? I want to explain that. Maybe I want to put my text myself. You understand? So I can go ahead to do that myself. How do I get to do that? I can reduce the size of this. Make it into basic step, right? And then I get to use my alignment here. I can select everything and use what? Side alignment. Then I can go ahead to increase the size, just like it was before. Right? Just like it was before. I can go ahead to use my what? Text alignment. I can move everything to this side. Now you can see that now I have a spacing in between them that is not so organized. Select everything that I have here. I can go ahead to also what? Reduce line spacing. When I reduce line spacing, that's the distance between each of the text to make it more compact together. Now I have this. Now I can select the top section. I can use the color of purple like it was before. So I'll go ahead and select text color. I'll make it what? Purple like it was before. And I'll go back to this guy. They are black as they were before as well. Again, these texts are something you can create and recreate yourself. Right? Create and recreate yourself. How I started with design. This is a practice exercise for everyone to do. Now I'll click on my donut icon here. When I click on my donut icon, it reviews my home, my project, my templates, my brand, my app, my design lab, I'm going to home. Under my home section, I have a page for us. So in fact, you don't have to create, you don't have to create everything from the start. You don't have to create everything from the start with Canva, but you can, again, if you want to do that. For example, I'm interested in creating a design and how to create it from fresh. All I have to do is, what design am I trying to create? I'm trying to create an Instagram post. On that Instagram post, you have a size. If you have a size in mind, can you see a custom size here? You can enter it yourself. When you click on custom size, it opens up. You can enter the width, the height, and then the measuring units, if it's pixel, inches, millimeters, or centimeter. If I'm designing a business card, all I have to go online, confirm what size of what business card, what size, standard, right? If I go ahead to click on business card, Google can give you this. You understand? It's something that you can see inches in inches. You're already done. Get this size and insert that into this section. If you are going to be using what inches. But for my own, what I'm trying to create is a what Instagram post. This is an Instagram post, and Instagram size, if people that know, maybe you don't know, let me go ahead to give you something. What there's a platform called Social.io. Social.io. Let me just put social sizes so that you guys can see it. Go to your Google and type social sizes so that when you want to do this later. But can you see Social.io? Social sizes.io. I'll click on it. This is a platform that gives you all the social media platform and whatever site that you want to design for. For example, I want to design for Instagram. I'll go ahead to click on Instagram. It's going to take me to Instagram. Can you see on Instagram, I can download a file. I can download a sketch file for Instagram sizes. I can download a what Figma file for what Instagram. I can download SD file, Photoshop file, and what Illustrator file. Basically, on this file that I'm going to be downloading, it has all the sizes of what everything. Can you see for the feed of Instagram, I have the size of this. For the story of Instagram, I have the size of this. Again, all these assets, I have put it in a particular organized document I'm going to be sharing with everybody. All the links to get there and how and what you're going to find on each of the links, I'll put it on the proper document I'm going to share with everybody. What I'm looking for is what? A card design, a story design, right? This is this. I'm going to be using a story design, an image design of 1200 by 1200. I'll go ahead to go ahead to my carousel here. In fact, I don't want to use 1200. Let me use 1200. There's no big deal. No biggie. 1200. If that's what I want to create, and note that is what pixel, and I go to what create a new design. On this one I'm trying to create, no template whatsoever. That means I want to show off. I'm confident in the skills that I have. I want to go ahead to show Canva that I can create my design from fresh. Now, in our drawing file, let me open my folder for you. I have a folder that I've created for today's class. I'll go to my download and I'll go to Unilearning courses. The first day assignment is inside classroom resources. I'm going to be sharing this zip file with everybody. It has the presentation deck like I mentioned earlier. Presentation deck is available on it. Oh, when I'm opening my folder, can everybody see it on Telegram? Oh no, you can only see my Canva. Okay. That means I have to go ahead to share again. Let me share again from here. I'm going to share my entire screen this time on Telegram. Yeah. So now I'm sharing my entire screen. I said I have a folder that I've created. I don't know if you guys can see my file now. Can you see my file now? Can somebody acknowledge that they can see my file now?
Yes, sir, you can see.
Alright. On the file section, we have class resources. I'm going to be sharing this with you. I said it has what? The presentation deck that I'm going to be sharing with you. So if you feel like you missed something, you can also go back to the presentation yourself and see how everything we've discussed panned out. Again, this is the practice exercise for everybody. All these materials you are going to have it. Like I said, we have the tasks. This is where everybody gets to the class practice for today. Create your own journey design using the carousel design that I've shown. The other one is what task 2 is for you to create a what design, create a design using all the design results that I've given here. Now, how do you go about that? By creating it yourself. I'll go ahead to open my design here. I'll go to what upload. First, I need a background. A background is already on the file. I have a lot of background here. I've given you like 4 backgrounds that you can use, right? 4 background. This is the end product that we are trying to create. End product. Can you see end product 001? End product. This is what we are trying to create finally. How do you get to create that? You create that with all the resources that I've given you. For example, I have a background here. I'll go ahead to drag my background into my Canva. I'll put it here. Now it will load up. Can you see that now it's inside my design directly? I'll go ahead to put that in my background. I'll align that to the page, and I feel like I have everything prepared. Right? This is the background. Everything is set. The next aspect is what to add what another image. The next thing that I want to add here is the image. This is the image that everybody's going to be using, and I'll go ahead and pick this image, go to my design, and then place my image into my design as well. Can you see that it loads up? If yours is not showing up automatically, just go to where you have upload, and then you will see the list of everything that you have added. Can you see mine here? All these designs are here, the backgrounds are there, the what other backgrounds are here. If I go ahead to place this as here, I'll go ahead to align it to the side, and I'll go ahead to increase the size again. I'm trying to show something, I'm trying to explain something here. And then the next part is what? To create something similar to what we already have here. Now there's a write-up. A write-up on the side. All the write-up have been provided on what? This PDF file. There's a PDF file that houses 3 designs. So we are creating 3 slides of it with different write-up, and they're all there. So I'll go back to my design because I have that tab currently open on my design. I'll go back here. Everything is here. So I'll go ahead to pick on what? Cultivate and sustain thriving what? Landscape. I'll go ahead to do that. Copy that. Go back to my design. Placing a text. It will ask me how do you want to place your text. I'll go ahead to put a what? Text box. Now I have a text box there. I'll go ahead to Ctrl V. Now this is the header. Move the header up, and as you can see, it is like it's in like 3 rows or 2 rows. Basically, I have everything here. I can use my alignment. Can you see my alignment command? On this section, you can change the font. Up here, you can change the font of your design. You can change it to anything, basically any font that works for you. Apart from the font, you get to also change the size. You can increase the size as you see fit. The other one is also changing the color. You can change the color to whatever color that aligns with you. Again, you don't want to use something that is shouting. You don't want to use something that is not working. You understand? We want something that shows contrast. You can see we have a dark background here. Definitely a color that what illuminates, something that what that will stand out in the background is definitely white. For this example, again, apart from that, you can also make your design bold, or you can make it italicized or underlined or whatever. Basically, you can make it all cap. In fact, I can make it all cap and then align to the left side, because you know the normal way human beings read is from left to right. I'll select everything that I have here, and then there's something called text spacing. That's the 3rd part on the list. No, the 4th one. On the list, I have line spacing. I'm going to what? Increase. You can see the difference when I'm increasing and when I'm reducing is what I actually want to do, so that they are more closer. They feel like they are together. Like this is a topic of the discussion of our discussion. Then the next part again, I want to add another text to it. I'll go ahead and click on what? Add text box again. Once again, I'll bring it down this time. This time I'm not using, in fact, if I don't want to bring another text box, I'll just use the one that I already have. I can select what I have here and then click on what? Delete. Escape, and it goes off. I can select this my guy here. I can go ahead to click on what? Duplicate. Can you see on my section I have magic writing? If you want to use AI for that, you have comment, you have what? Lock. If you want to lock it in place, that means you don't want anybody to move it. I cannot move it anymore now. For example, this image, after placing it at this corner side, I want to lock it in place. That means I can go ahead to what? Lock it as well. When I lock it, it cannot move again. I cannot drag it. The background, if I drag it, it will still move. But this image is already there. I'll leave it there in the background. Basically, anything that you still want to make adjustments, you what? Unlock. I can now drag the images in the background. Can you see that? But if you have placed it at the right level that you want it to be, go ahead and lock it down so that it does not what? Move. Right? I'll go ahead to lock that section. Now this text has been locked. It's looking fine. Now I'll select this text. I can also what? Click on it to what? Unlock. Click on the text and what? Unlock. When I go ahead to unlock, I can what? Duplicate a copy of that and I'll bring it down. I'll make sure that it's on the same straight line as it is. This time I want to use the body copy. What's the body copy of this text? Is this, that we have a section that we have to what? We have the what? The body copy around here to what? Here. Right? I'll go ahead to what? Copy that, and then I'll go back to my Canva one more time. I'll paste it into here. Now this text is not working for the body copy, as we all know. So I'll go ahead to what? Control A everything, just like a Microsoft Word. I'll go ahead to change the font to something more usable. I'll go ahead to use Canva Sans, for example. I'll make sure that it's not what? Uppercase all through. I'll make sure that I also what? Reduce the size. I'll make it something around, let's use maybe 18 for it. No, 18 is too small. I'll take it up maybe around 21. 21 should work. And then now that I have this, you know that there are what? 2 paragraphs there. I'll go ahead to adjust the paragraph accordingly. And then I can what? Arrange the text so that everything is what? Readable. I can go ahead to move the text as I so please. Again, I want to fix this image in place so that it does not move anymore. I'll go ahead and select this guy now. The position of my text is locked again. I have to what? Unlock this guy. Unlock. Go back to this guy. Now I can move. Now when I move this guy, you can see that I have the text currently showing. In fact, let me duplicate this. I'll copy this up. I'll copy this other section so that I have it more organized. I'll go ahead to Control C this guy. In fact, Control X, so that I can cut entirely from there. And I'll duplicate this short write-up that we have here. I'll go ahead to duplicate it one more time again. I'll go ahead to duplicate from here. What am I trying to do? Duplicate. I'll bring it down one more level, and then I'll space it. I'll make sure that I'm on the same line one more time, and then Control V whatever I've copied earlier. This time I don't want it to overlay with the image, so I'll reduce the size. Are you with me? So I have this. This text is not currently looking like, you can look at the spacing in between them is not so nice. So I can increase the spacing a little bit so that everything is more clearly placed. So I'll go ahead to use maybe 1.4 for the spacing, and I think 1.4 is too much. Let me use 1.2. I'll go ahead to increase the spacing again. 1.2, right? 1.2 should be okay for that. Again, I'll also select this guy and also make it what 1.2 to maintain what consistency and repetition as well. 1.2, enter. So now I go ahead to space this out for everyone to see. Now I can take it up, maintain the balance, the spacing in between the two. Now I have this. This is getting close to whatever we have here as the final product. Now all you have to do is place the logo. The logo is also added in the file folder. You can see everything is here. If I wanted to place the logo, I'll go ahead to drag the logo into my design. Right, into my design. If I drag in the logo into my design, I also have it here currently showing, it's loading up. Can I see the logo here? So I can go ahead to click again, put my logo into the design. Now, is this logo working in this background? No, because we don't have a clear contrast being established at the moment. The logo is not working because of the background. The background is a multicolored background and the logo is not working fine. Right? If I want to correct this, one of the things I can do is I can change the background if I want to, or change this logo into white completely. Right? I can change this logo into white. If this logo was pure white, then I can use this very well. Right? Let me confirm if I have a white logo in this list here, or I can just use the icon. Let me try to use the icon itself. I'll go ahead to bring that also into my design. It's also loading up, and then whenever it's loaded, I'll click on it to show up again. So let me reduce this. And I can put this just right up top here. I'll select this long one, I can delete. I feel this is still visible and clear contrast is being established here. Now the brand symbol is there, the name is there, everything is organized. All I have to now put here is what? Just the brand information and how everything works, everything has been created already. This is what I'm giving as assignment. I've already showed you an example of how you go about it. Again, all the resource files are already provided in the file I'm going to be sharing with you later after now. So basically, you have all the process. What you are trying to achieve is what? The end product. All the asset has been given long before now. That marks the end of our discussion regarding the project and also our discussion on how do we even get started with what? Canva. If you have any question, this is the time for you to ask me. A recap of whatever we have been discussing so far is basically we are talking about graphics design as a crucial tool for communication. We explain the concept of CAP, the principle to help create visually appealing and functional design. One thing you will also notice, I need to mention this before now. Let me go back to my design. It's very important I mention this before we call this section a day. I'll go ahead to show you where is it? The pod initiative, right? Let me see. All this design that you have seen, all this design that you see, in fact, on your own, where you have your design from, when you search on Canva, they are looking for Instagram carousel. Automatically, you looking at this design, you see that there is a form of what? Alignment going on. Do you notice them? When you place your mouse without clicking, just place your mouse on it, animation is going to happen. They're going to be scrolling themselves, going from page to page just to see. And then you will notice that the CAP principle is being applied on every design that you can see here. Look at the alignment. Look at the contrast. Look at the change in header. You can see the header clearly from the body copy and the likes. Everything is well organized. All those principles are used here without even spelling it out to you. You understand? But as a designer, whenever you see them, you should know them. Right? Looking at these designs, everything is organized. Right? I can go to this one too and then check. You will see that every concept of alignment is being included and being used. Subtle in a way in the design. Right? Again, we cannot overemphasize the concept of CAP. to help us create appealing and functional design. And the last part of whatever we discussed, what we discussed this night, is what different types of graphics design and how they serve unique purposes in various industries. Basically, I don't think graphics designer can go out of business, regardless of the fact that we have AI in the world or whatever. If the designer decides not to work again, all businesses are going to suffer, I believe, right? Because everybody wants to send their message. Look at how businesses are advertising to you today. These are because graphic designers are out there and they are spreading their message. Now, this is some time for Q&A. Let's go to our chart. If you have